Welcome back to the opposition preview. I'm Dion. I'm joined by Dave here from the Beesotted Brentford podcast as they're going back home from the Man City game. I love the dedication, Dave. Thank you for joining us. As always, leave down your comments down below ahead of the game. Let us know your thoughts, what you think that Palace can do. Dave, let's start off with your season so far. I don't want to keep you too long because I know you're traveling back. But what have you made of it? You started the season off well, from a neutral perspective, anyways. When you're looking at what you guys done against Arsenal and even at home against us, I thought you played pretty decently. What have you made it as a whole going into the second half of the season? You're currently sitting, I believe, only a couple of points below us, not that far away. So how have you, as a Brentford fan, made of it?
I mean, it's been a massive learning curve. You're right to say that it was a really good start, and we kind of maybe got a bit carried away because of that. We thought this is a bit easy, and it's certainly not easy. We're struggling at the moment. Let's be honest. We haven't won a game since Aston Villa, which was the first game into the new year. And we beat Watford the home game before. Well, it wasn't quite before that, but it was like a couple before that. So we had a couple of wins again, which kind of eased us away from having to look over our shoulder. But we're kind of doing that a bit at the moment because we haven't won for a while, and the teams below us, although they're not winning, they're picking up a point here and a point there, and it's kind of squeezing it a little bit. So yeah, it's a learning curve in so much as we also have to listen to you guys and Burnley fans and Norwich fans about their experiences, about what you need to have in the tank, what's likely to happen. We have to obviously get some wins again, but it's how many do we need realistically to survive? Because this year it's all about survival for us and learning from that. And then once you can get that out of the way, hopefully you can kind of get some better players in and learn from your mistakes, really. So yeah, we're new boys, and it's been enjoyable. But you don't want to see your team losing every week either. So that's a new feeling. Not a new feeling for Brentford fans over the years, but the last 5 or 6 years, or last 10 years really, we've been doing all right. So to see us struggling, it's hard.
What is the reason for the struggle then? Because we talked about how you've had a great start to the season. What's happened? Do you think it's just fatigue catching up to you guys? Is it teams that's figuring out maybe how you guys have been approaching games? What do you think it is?
Yeah, probably a mixture of all of that. But we had I know all clubs have had an injury crisis, but it affects us, more because we haven't got that depth of squad. We haven't got a £50 million player to bring off the bench, or just these world-class players waiting in the wings that some of the squads are able to do. And so the kind of the backbone of that team that got us off to such a good start, we lost all of those. David Raya busted his knee. Then we had Christopher Ayer was out for a while. Ivan Toney was out for a few games with COVID as well, and I know that's affecting everyone, but he really is our talisman. You miss him, and then Brian Mbeumo was injured, and Enrico Henry has been injured. So we've missed some really instrumental players. But the good thing is they're all coming back, and then Josh Da Silva as well. He's a player that. He's been excellent for us in the last couple of years, but he's had quite a bad career-threatening injury. But he's starting to get minutes now. He came on last night, and he came on at the weekend against Everton. So there are green shoots coming through as well. So we're not sort of we're not cacking ourselves as such. But we just need to get the best players on the pitch, and we should be able to be in that position to do that on Saturday, hopefully.
So talking about your recent result, we both played on the Wednesday night. Of course, we came away with a draw against Norwich. You guys against City, it's not an easy place to go to. Came up with the loss, but in terms of your performance yesterday, for those who haven't watched it, what would you want to say? How did you guys perform?
I thought we played well. obviously you're always concerned that they're just going to dismantle you at any minute.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen. And, we lost 2-0. And the 2 goals were our mistakes, really. And Man City are always going to create something. They're always going to probably score in every single game. So yeah, the first goal, Sergi Canos could have cleared the ball. He had a couple of opportunities to clear the ball, and he didn't, and he ran into trouble. And then the ball was played through, and Sterling was one-on-one with Roslev, and Roslev put in a tackle, and it was ever so slightly mistimed, and it was a penalty probably, so we go in 1-0 down at the break, and the second half it played out the same way. Really, we were fairly well organised. We didn't park the bus. We did have a few chances, and we did really try and go toe to toe with them when we could. And then David Raya, the goalkeeper I mentioned, he's such a big part of our game, and he's part of the way he passes from the back. And every now and again, he throws a clanger into the mix, and he did last night. And it was a bad pass, and De Bruyne took his second chance and found the bottom corner. So yeah, we paid a harsh price for that. But after 2-0, it didn't really seem like we were going to let the game get away from us. So yeah, some positives, if you can take positives in defeat. We looked organised. And we looked pretty good actually in phases. So yeah, not the end of the world.
So in terms of weaknesses, what is the one weakness that maybe we could exploit in Saturday's game? Is it tactical? Is it targeting maybe a player that hasn't been on form? What do you think that Palace should do going into this game?
I mean, looking back to the first game at Selhurst, it was a decent match, I thought. You really did. I mean, you've got a lot of powerful players, and you're combative. I wouldn't say we've got like individual weaknesses, but your stats guys will see that early from corners, free kicks, we have let a fair few goals in. That's not giving away any trade secrets. Your stats guys will know that all day long. But we didn't look susceptible to that last night. So maybe we've been working on that. We had Pinnock back, and Christian Ayer, and Pontus Jansson. We've got the aerial ability now, so we just need to be on it. We need to just cut out individual mistakes. We have been making individual mistakes where we've played okay, and then the ball's given away, and then we're punished for that. Up at Goodison at the weekends, again it was much the same case. We played okay in parts, but then give away it's too easy for other teams to score against us, and we seem to have to move heaven and earth to get a goal ourselves. So yeah, we need to just be a little bit more professional.
So in terms of players, you mentioned some players have been out injured. Who has been performing well? Who do we have to look out for going into this game? Who would you say are the most informed players?
Well, Ivan Toney will get all the headlines. He always does. He scored. He didn't play last night, so he scored in his last 3 games that he started. So he's hit a bit of a vein of form. Ryan Mbumo, he's been, I think, my player of the season so far. He's quality. Really surprised that no one came in for him, or his name's not being linked with much bigger clubs than us. He's the real deal, coming in from the right. Christian Norgard, our tough tackler in the middle, he's class. And David Raya, I've mentioned him twice. He's able to start. He starts off a lot of our attacks from being in goal, so he can ping a beautiful ball out wide, or he can cut out the whole of the midfield and put it on a sixpence for Ivan Toney to run onto. But going to the game on Saturday, I'm hopeful, to be honest. I'll happy to take a point now, because we need to get points back on the board. But I'm going for a 2-1 Brentford win.
2-1 Brentford win. I was going to go for 2-1 Palace win, even though we've only won 1 game away from home, and that was against the team that you guys face, which makes no sense to me even to this day.
Look,
One of the hardest teams to face in the league.
Shake on a draw now, and we'll be happy
we
with
need the window, Dave. We've only won once. We've only won once away from home. But you know what? Honestly, I'm saying 2-1 Palace. But even for you guys, the segment that I've done, 2-2, I wouldn't be surprised with. I think there's going to be goals in this game.
Yeah,
I really do think that both teams should be going for it. I think you guys are going to go for it to get a win, of course, to push up the table. And we need to get that away win as well, which we've been waiting for a long time in the league. So I think it should be an exciting game. But look, Dave, thank you for joining us. Appreciate your dedication.
As well, man. Taxi driver.
Look at Billy, exactly. Billy's back as well.
That's right. On the way back from Manchester. Again, don't forget, check out, because you're on our podcast as well, prideofwest.london as well. Check that out, our pre-match podcast. We're going to put it up when we get back in a few hours, because we're still on the motorway. Had a big night out in Manchester last night. We might have lost, but we had a proper laugh.
Chauffeur.
Look, I'm happy for you guys, despite the loss. Seems like you had a great time. But look, Dave, thank you. Billy, thank you as well.
In West London.
Yeah, hopefully we both get the result that we want, but that's not going to work. So hopefully Palace get the win. But look, thank you. And until next time, up the Palace.